Hey, what's going on, friends? This is Rod from webhostwarriors.com, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing GoDaddy's web hosting and domain services, and we're also going to compare it with other companies that also have really great services as well, and see how GoDaddy stacks up. Now, with GoDaddy, they are the titan in terms of domain registering, but in terms of hosting, I wouldn't say they're the best, but they're well above average with their services. Now, when you're just starting out, I would honestly recommend that you use GoDaddy to register your domain because they have some of the cheapest and most affordable options out there in the market. So, for example, if you look up here in the very top, their .com TLDs right now are on sale for $11.99. .net is $11.99. .online is $4.99. .me is $3.49, and .org is $7.99. So, if you're just starting out, I would recommend picking out a TLD that's either .com, .net, or .org. Just based on market value, most people would trust a website that's a .com, .net, or .org compared to a .online or .me or .ninja or .club. So when you're just starting out, I'd recommend picking one of those three main TLDs. And other than that, GoDaddy's been around for a while. They've been around since 1999. So they've been around since the main peak of the internet boom in the late 90s. They have over 17 million customers out there throughout the world. So in terms of that regard, GoDaddy is a very, very big company, and I would say all their services, I wouldn't call them a jack of all trades, but they're well above average in that regard in most services. And in my opinion, GoDaddy's domain registers, in terms of pricing, it's some of the cheapest within the industry. So I would recommend that you pick GoDaddy when you're picking a domain name because, again, they have some of the cheapest within the marketplace. Now, in hosting, I really would not recommend them getting out your hosting unless you want to package everything together. But in my opinion, there's other services out there in terms of web hosting that's far better, far more cost effective, and will just be easier for you to build websites with. And I'll go over that a little bit throughout the video. But let's just compare, let's say, GoDaddy with HostGator, which is another big web hosting company as well. So as you can see, the pricing for that was $11.99 for .com or .net, $3.49 for .me. But if we look at HostGator, HostGator is slightly higher. Now, the industry standard can range between $12 to $15 when you first register your domain with other companies, but with HostGator for .com is $12.95. For .online, let me see, it's $1.95. .net is $12.95. So in that regard, GoDaddy's pricing compared to HostGator when you're getting your domain at first is cheaper than HostGator, except for .online. So of course they vary slightly, but overall you're going to get a better price with GoDaddy. But in terms of hosting, if you look at hosting, the hosting packages for GoDaddy that range from $3.99 to $7.99 for the Windows plans. And if you look at the economy one, so it's $3.99, you get one website, you get up to 100 gigs of storage, but you also get unmetered bandwidth since you are using shared hosting throughout their network. And then for Deluxe and Ultimate, you get unlimited websites, unlimited installs, unlimited storage, and bandwidth as well. And other than that, the key differences between Deluxe and Ultimate is you do get 1 year of SSL certificates, and if you don't know that, it's basically a security certificate. So like when you go through your web browser, you'll see whether if it's secured or an unsecured website when you're trying to fill out information, whether it be private information or billing information. But other than that, those are pretty much the key differences between those three packages. But if you compare it with HostGator, the plans are actually a lot cheaper. It's $3.95 to $5.95 between their hashing plan and business plan. And in terms of variation, they're pretty similar with HostGator. But in terms of pricing, yeah, you're going to get a better price with HostGator in terms of web hosting. So I would highly recommend that if you do decide to start out your website, again, buy the domain from GoDaddy and then start your web hosting package with HostGator or Bluehost or iPage, because in my opinion, the web hosting in those companies are a lot quicker. They're uptimes are a lot faster. And of course, you can't really take my word for it. Let's look at actual factual numbers. So I'm going to go over to hostbenchmarker.com, and as you can see, if you look at the page speed test results, GoDaddy places at 3rd place, and it's fairly inconsistent in terms of their page speed. Their average is 3.8 seconds for the page load time. Their best is 0.31, which sounds great, but their worst is 37.97, which is one of the worst in this catalog with other web hosting companies. And if we look at the very top, StableHost and HostGator have better page speed test results. HostGator is 2.9 second average. Their best is 2.38. And if we look at StableHost, I also review them within the channel. They're a small team of 15 people, and they managed to have the same speed as GoDaddy, 3.08. So that's very alarming, considering that GoDaddy is a very large company, and a company with barely 15 people can actually compete with GoDaddy. So as you can see, GoDaddy is above average, but I would recommend that you choose HostGator or StableHost or Bluehost for that matter in terms of web hosting. Now, if we look at the uptime results, HostGator is at 99.97% uptime on the average. GoDaddy is at 99.96%. Then if we look at the support response, GoDaddy does excel in that. So it takes roughly 0.1 of an hour to get a response. So other than that, these companies, they all vary in terms of services and the performance. But as you can see, yeah, GoDaddy is well above average compared to the rest. But again, I would recommend definitely to try out HostGator, because other than that, HostGator is also month to month. So with GoDaddy, they don't really have that option. You're going to have to pay basically bi-yearly, by 1, 2, or 3 year options. So whereas with HostGator, you could literally just pay month to month. So if you're in a budget and you can't, hash out $120 to $150 in web hosting, I would highly recommend that you get involved with HostGator so that you could actually grow with it as you go, and then you could upgrade plans from there. And other than that, that's really it. Those are pretty much the core things I wanted to talk about GoDaddy and other companies like HostGator. But hopefully that enlightened you in terms of how to deal with GoDaddy and what services to get, because sure, you can get all your products and services through GoDaddy. You can click the link below and check it out, and also check out HostGator. But in my opinion, I would recommend diversifying and being a smarter consumer and trying to get the best deals possible. So I'd recommend, again, to reiterate, get your domains through GoDaddy, but get your web hosting through HostGator or Bluehost or any other host for that matter, because in terms of uptime, performance, and speed, GoDaddy, it's well above average, but it's not as fast as these other companies, and it costs more to spend on web hosting compared to HostGator. And it may not sound like a lot, but if, let's say, you keep a website or a business for the next 5 to 10 years, I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands of dollars that you're missing out on if you just keep everything in GoDaddy. So with that in mind, guys, that's pretty much it. That concludes my short and concise review with GoDaddy, and hopefully that enlightened you a bit about the company and what to decide on in terms of choosing a web hosting company as well. So with that in mind, guys, this is Rod from webhostwarriors.com. That's pretty much it. I appreciate you for watching this short review, and I'll see you on the next one.